TV, yeah. Now we TV, yeah. Now we, oh, yeah. Magic TV, not TV for you, not TV for me. Magic TV, not TV for you, TV for you alone. Magic TV, not TV for you, not TV for me. Magic TV, not TV for you, TV for you alone. So twin 'em, we are reality meets fantasy. Twin 'em, we give you the best, no discrepancy. So twin 'em, we are reality meets fantasy. Twin 'em, we give you the best, no discrepancy. Magic TV, we get all the quality now. Oh no, Channel 38, we care about the sports. Entertainment's 9, they not release. We not talking about good news, yeah. If we love with TV now, so we move on. We get all the quality now, yeah. Now we TV, yeah. Now you TV, yeah. Now you, oh, anytime you need them, yeah. They're available for you. Magic TV, not TV for you, not TV for me.
I'm Dr. Tutu Rogers, a media practitioner. We work for Magic TV.
I'm Sheikh Hussein Yassin. I always watch Magic TV on Channel 30.
Good afternoon and welcome to News Around Africa with me, Esther Wilson. Almost 300 people who've tested positive for Ebola are unaccounted for, according to the head of the Africa Centers for Disease Control. The unknown whereabouts of the patients is raising serious concern about gaps in trafficking and the uncontrolled spread of the deadly virus. The DR Congo has confirmed more than 1,100 cases of Ebola since the outbreak was announced in mid-May. At least 291 people have died. The outbreak has been largely confined to the DRC. Uganda has reported 20 cases and 2 deaths. Last week, France announced that a doctor who had just returned from Congo had tested positive for Ebola. But New World Health Organization (WHO) projections are predicting more than 8,000 cases and 1,400 deaths by mid-September, with a 70% chance of spreading to neighboring South Sudan. Efforts by Congolese authorities and those in neighboring countries are working to slow transmission, the WHO has said. But under the worst-case scenario, there could be more than 60,000 cases by September. The current outbreak, the 17th to hit the DRC, is already at the worst on record. More than 1 million people in the affected area are inaccessible to health workers due to the ongoing conflict in eastern Congo. The Democratic Republic of Congo said it has filed a case against Rwanda at the International Court of Justice over its role in the long-running conflict in the eastern Congo. Kinshasa accuses Kigali of backing the M23 rebel movement, which controls large swaths of territory in the east after a lightning advance last year. Rwanda, for its part, says the DRC is fighting alongside the FDLR, a Congo-based group that includes remnants of those responsible for Rwanda's 1994 genocide. The decades-long conflict is rooted in the genocide after remnants of the forces associated with the genocide fled across the border into Congo. Leaders of the two countries signed a U.S. brokered deal in Washington last year to de-escalate fighting in the Congo's respective eastern provinces. But in a statement on Friday, Kinshasa accused Kigali of breaching international conventions, including those on genocide, racial discrimination, and torture. It said the alleged crimes committed against civilians over 3 decades, including massacres, extrajudicial killings, torture, sexual violence, and forced displacement. The DRC is calling on the United Nations Court to order Rwanda to cease the alleged violations and award reparations to the states and victims. There was no immediate response from the Rwanda government. Kigali has consistently denied allegations that it backs any rebel groups operating in Congo. Both UN experts and Western governments have sided with the DRC in finding Rwanda responsible for providing support to M23 militants. Relations between the two countries is severely strained over the conflict, and the filing opens a new legal front in one of Africa's longest-running disputes. Uganda's leading independent media group said it is under a military siege after the army chief ordered the shutdown of its newspapers, TV station and radio outlets. NTV Uganda and Spark TV were forced off air after armed forces surrounded the Nation Media Group (NMG) Kampala offices on Sunday. The stations went off air in the early hours of Sunday, with local media reporting that the broadcast displayed the message video unavailable. Headquartered in Kenya, NMG is East Africa's largest independent media company, and in Uganda also owns the influential Daily Monitor, the East African and other platforms. The news came after the head of Uganda's military, Muhoozi Kainerugaba, announced on social media that they will cease operations immediately. In Uganda, I do not believe in a free press. The press should be guided by cadres of the revolution, he said in a post on X. The general, who is President Yoweri Museveni's son, has asserted growing control in recent months, ordering the arrest of politicians and activists. Kainerugaba confirmed on X that the orders had been approved by his father, who has ruled Uganda for 40 years, and said the outlet will not reopen without my permission. Museveni, 81, won another term in January, but many see his son as positioning himself to take over. The Committee to Protect Journalists and opposition leader Bobi Wine have condemned the media shutdown. Uganda ranks 143 out of 180 countries on Media Watchdog Reporters Without Borders Press Freedom Index. It says journalists in Uganda face intimidation and violence on a nearly daily basis. That's all we have time for on this edition of News Around Africa by Magic TV, and I'm Esther Wilson.
The world